Yeah, hello, brilliant students. Um, okay, my on. Let me see. Okay, now it's on. Yes. On it. All right. Good day, everyone. You're welcome to class today. Yes. This morning we looked at some questions under quadratic equation. We looked at real life problem, right? Okay. So today, this evening, we are going to continue from where we stopped. So I observed that it seems some of us did not get the word problem very well. So this evening, we are going to go into it properly, and we'll track everything out today. Okay, so before we commence the class, I want you to invite your friends, your classmates, let them know the class has started now. Okay, so and also as you are joining the class, don't forget always give the class a thumb. Yes, you should let us know that you like the class, and you know, if you have not subscribed, it is good you subscribe. Okay, so now let us see the number of people that are available now. All right, I think I can see Agbode, yes, Lekon, and yeah, okay, who else is there? Okay, Oluwatosin is there. I can see Muiz. There, who else is there? I can see Ajayi Amidat. And who else? Okay, so please, uh, you can invite your friends. Let them know the class have started. Okay, so now let us dive into today's class. We have this question on the board. Twice the square of certain whole number added to 3 times the number makes 90. Find the number. Okay, so now to answer this question, I have to read in between lines. I make sure that I understand what the question is talking about. So now look at it. Twice the square of a certain number, a certain whole number. So now I will start by saying, let x represents the whole number. Because the question is talking about a whole number. Now, the question says that twice, when we say twice, it means 2. Twice the square of a certain whole number. So square of a certain whole number will be x squared. Since we have represented a certain whole number with x, so that means square of that certain number is going to be x squared. Is that clear? Right now, so but the question says twice, that means 2 times twice the square of a certain whole number, twice the square of a certain whole number added to 3 times the number. Which number are we talking about? We are talking about the whole number. So now let us now write the mathematical statement. So we have twice the square of a certain whole number added to 3 times the number, so plus 3x. Hope you get that. 3 times the number makes 90. Makes 90. That means it's equals to 90. So equals to 90. All right. Do you get that statement now? All right. So now the question now is to find the number. We have to find the whole number. So how do you do this? Now let's write this quadratic equation in standard form. So we have it as 2x squared plus 3x minus 90 equals to 0. All right, so I want to ask the class now, what is going to be the sum and the product this time around? What is the sum and what is the product? Yes, what is the sum and what is the product? Okay, yes, I can see. Someone said plus 3 minus 180. I can see 3 and minus 8. That is Ajaya Amidat. I can see Uba plus 3 minus 180. All right, so I can also see Oluwatosin. That is 3 and minus 180. I'm seeing Muiz now. Sum is 3 while the product is minus 180. Good. Now, it shows that a lot of you are following the class. Now, the sum is the coefficient of x, which is plus 3. So we have plus 3 as the sum. And the product will be the coefficient of x squared here times the number we have here. So we have 2 times minus 2 times minus 90, and that gives you minus 180. So that is going to be the product. So those of you that gave this answer, it means you are correct. That's very good. All right, now, so now we need two numbers such that when you multiply the two numbers together, you have minus 180. And when you add the numbers together, you have what? Plus 3. So can you quickly tell me what are the numbers that the multiplication gives minus 180 and the addition gives 3? Don't forget I told you that those numbers are factors of minus 180. So you begin to think of factors of 180. All right. Now let's wait for your response. Yes, is anybody giving me the answer? Anyone giving me the answer? The two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have minus 180, and when you add together, okay, Uba has given 1. I can see 6 and 3. All right, 6 and 3. 6 and 3. Okay, are you sure? Okay, I can see Victor has given 1, 3 and minus 90. I can also see Shotayo 6 and 3. Yes, I can see Amida. That is 3 and minus 90. Okay, I can also see 6 and 3. Oh, all right. Now, when you look at the numbers that you gave, you see, you need to check before you write. You must be sure that what you are giving is correct. Now, look at it. When you multiply those numbers together, you have minus 180. By the time you add the two numbers together, you're going to have plus 3, because it seems virtually everybody is not getting the answer. All right, I think you should be thinking of probably maybe 15 times, let's say 12. Yes, 15 times 12 is going to give you 180. So you have to look for numbers that are very close, because you can see your sum. Your sum is this. So now, because I have minus as my product, minus 180, so I either have it this way, minus 15 times this. Okay, let me say, okay, minus 15 and 12, or I have 15 and minus 12. Now look at these two numbers. If I multiply this and this together, I have minus 180, and also this. But let us see which one will the addition give us 3. Now when you add this and this together, you have minus 3. What we have here is plus 3. So it can be this. So now let us look at this. When you add this and this together, you have plus 3. So that means it's 12, 15, and minus 12. Okay, hope you get that. So now you put your hands together for me because virtually all of you did not get the answer. All right. So these are the two numbers. So we incorporate that into this expression at the left hand side of the equation. So this 3x will turn to 15x minus 12x, and that is the same thing as 3x. So let us write that. So we have 2x squared plus 15x minus 12x. Okay, so minus 90 equals to 0. So that is what we have. Now we now have two pairs. We have the first two numbers and the second two terms. Okay, so now let's look for the common terms. What are the common terms? What is common to these two terms? Now you can see that x is common. X is common to this. So we have x. So when you divide this by x, you have 2x. Divide this by x, you have plus 15. Now let's look at these two terms. What is common to this and is also common to this? Yes? Are you telling me? Now that's going to be 6. Alright? So minus 6. Okay, so we have minus 6 because we have negative here. Don't forget I told you, once you see a negative here, so the number you must be writing here must be, the number here must be negative. Alright, so when you divide minus 12x by minus 6, what do you have? You have 2x. So and this you have plus 15 equals to 0. Alright, so now what is the common factor here? So you have 2x plus 15. You are left with x minus 6 equals to 0. Okay, so two numbers are multiplying each other to have 0. You see that 2x plus 15 equals to 0, or x minus 6 equals to 0. Alright, so you have 2x. When you transpose 15, it will be minus 15 here, or x equals to 6. So here you have, when you divide both sides by 2, you have x equals to minus 15 over 2, or x equals to 6. Alright, so I will not go further. I'm going to stop here because I already have my answer. Now look at what the question is talking about. The question says you should find the number. You should find the certain number. The certain number is what? Whole number. So I will not disturb myself on this. Alright, because this is not going to give me whole number. And this is not the number this question is talking about. So that means the number this question is talking about is 6. So therefore, the whole number is equals to 6. So that is the whole number. All right? Do you all get that? Okay, so now let us look at another question. Please, I want to believe you have invited your friends. Okay. All right. Okay, so now let us look at another question. Let's look at another question. Now, example, a certain number is subtracted from 18 and and 13. The product of the two numbers obtained is 66. Find the first number. Find the first number. Okay. Yes, this is another wonderful question. So how do we solve this problem? Now let's read the question again. Now, a certain number is subtracted from 18 and 13. A certain number is subtracted from 18 and 13. Now, the product of the two numbers obtained is what? 66. Find the first number. So before we start, I also want you to invite a friend. Let me see. Do we have a good number here? Okay, so invite a friend. Share this video with your friend. Let them join the class. All right. So, okay, I think I can see like 15 students here. Okay, now let's look at the question together. Now, a certain number is subtracted from 18. Now, let's see. Now, we start by saying let the certain number be x. If the certain number is x, now the question says that certain number is subtracted from 18 and 13. The product of the two numbers obtained, that is after subtracting, the product of the two numbers obtained is 66. So let's see. So we subtract x from 18, so we have 18 minus x. We multiply it by 13 minus x, because we are subtracting a certain number from 18 and 13. So as you can see now, I'm subtracting x from 18 and also from 13. Now the product means multiplication, so we multiply what we have. Now the result is 66. So that's what the question is talking about. So this is the first thing. Now the next thing now is to expand. Now let us expand. Now you have 18 times 13 minus x, and you pick the second one, minus x times 13 minus x equals to 66. All right, now can we open the bracket now? So now what is going to be what do we have as 18 times 13? 18 times 13 is 234. Okay, so now we have 18 times minus x. That gives you minus 18x. Now, minus x times 13, we have minus 13x. Okay, so minus x times minus x, that gives you plus x squared equals to 66. All right. So now you can see we can tidy up these two terms. So now you have 2, 3, 4. Okay. Minus, now when you join this and this together, you have what? 31. You have 31 minus 31x. That's minus 31x. So plus x squared. Okay, equals to 66. So you can rearrange. All right, so we have x squared minus 31x. Okay, so now we have 223 here. So now let's write it as plus 223 34, okay, minus 66 equals to 0. Okay, so now what is the next thing to do? Now let us subtract this from this. Now, so we have x squared minus 31x. What do you have? We have 168. So plus 168 equals to 0. All right, here now, can you get the sum and product? So now look for the sum and the product. What's going to be the sum of this quadratic equation? So what is the sum? What is the sum and what is the product? So I'm waiting for your answers. The sum and the product. Yes. What is the sum and what is the product? What is the sum and what is the product? Okay, I can see answers here. I can see Uber. You have minus 31 and 168. Minus 31, 100, okay, Tosin. I can also see Riscott. Yes, where are others? Yes. Okay. Yes, okay, okay, Riscott. Okay. All right. Now, we have the sum to be minus 31 and the product to be 168. Okay, so now give me two numbers such that when we multiply together you have 168, and when you add the two numbers together you have minus 31. I want you to do that within 15 seconds. They tell me the answer. So what is it going to be? Yes, I'm waiting for your answer. Okay, yes, yes. So if you didn't get it, just listen. We are still going to do more example. All right, we're still going to do more example. It seems you are just joining. So if you are just joining, you just have to listen carefully. You will understand everything. All right. So those of you that are in the class, what are the two numbers such that when you multiply together you have 168, and when you add together you have minus 31? Minus 31. Yes. Yes, I'm waiting for the two numbers. I'm waiting for the two numbers. Uber, I'm waiting for your answer. Show me day, I'm waiting for your answer. What are the two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have 168, and then when you add together, you have minus 31. Okay, I can see Uber's results. So you have minus 7 and minus 24. Okay, let's wait for others. Yes. Okay, it's only Uber that I've given the answer, so time is running. Yes. Okay, show me there. You have minus 7 and minus 24. Okay, because of our time, I think we already have the answer over there. So minus 24 and minus 7. Now let's confirm the validity of the statements. Now, when you add this and this together, now you're going to have minus 31. That is correct. Now, when you multiply 7 times 24, you have 128. 68. So these are the two numbers. Now you have x squared minus 7x minus 24x plus 100 and what? 168 equals to 0. Okay? So now, look at the first pair and the second pair. What is common? You have x. X is common, so you factor out x. So you are left with x minus 7. Okay, now let's look at these two terms. What is common? Minus 24 is common. So you are left with x minus 7. Because when you divide this by 24, you have x. When you divide this by minus 24, you have minus 7. Okay, equals to 0. Alright, so now what is the common factor here? That is x minus 7. And you are left with what? X minus 24 equals to 0. So x minus 7 equals to 0 or x minus 24 equals to 0. So x equals to 7 or x equals to 24. Alright. Now the question asks you to find the first number. You have to find the first number. Alright. So now what is going to be the first number? Now the first number is the number when you subtract x from 18. Alright? You know, we have, they say a certain number is subtracted from 18 and it's also subtracted from what? 13. Okay, now the product of the two numbers obtained is this. So you have to find the first number. So the first number is 18 minus x. So now let's write this out. Now 18 minus x, I'm writing it up here. So first number 18 minus x. What is the value of x? The value of x is 7. Okay, so when x is 7, so you have 18 minus 7. Okay, so that means the first number is what? That is 11. Okay, so this is going to be the first number. Hope you get that now. So if this one is the first number, the second number is going to be 13 minus 7. Okay, 13 minus 7. Let us see. You said 13 minus 7. So what will that one give you? That will give you 6. Alright, 11 times 6. That gives you what? 66. So that is the answer to the problem. Alright, so the first number is what? 11. Now I want to go through the question again. Let me go through the solution I have there, because of those people that just join us and did not get the explanation. All right, so that is the reason why I advise that you always join the class in time, and once I'm online, you'll be notified if you subscribe to the channel. So ensure that you subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. So once I'm online, you'll be updated immediately. All right, so if you have not subscribed, kindly do that now, so that whenever we're in the class, you will join the class at the right time. Okay, all right, so thank you for doing that. Now let's look at the question again. Now, a certain number is subtracted from 18. A certain number, something is taken away from 18 and it's also taken away from 13. We don't know that number. All right, now the product of, once you subtract something from 18, you have something left. And the same thing, when you subtract from 13, you have something left. Now those two things that is left now are multiplied together. That's what the question is saying. The product of the two numbers obtained after you must have subtracted a number from 18 and 13 is 66. So you have to find the first number. That is what you have when you subtracted that number from 18. So that's what the question is asking. So you must understand the question. That will help you to be able to get the explanation here. So now look at it. I now said, okay, let the certain number subtracted from 18 and 13 be what? Be x. Alright, so now I now subtract x from 18 and also subtract what? X from 13 according to the question. After subtracting, I multiply the two together, as you can see now. So these two are multiplying each other. So this is the first number and this is the second number after subtracting x from it. Okay, so now you multiply this and this, so you can multiply by expanding. So use this 18 to multiply everything we have here, and also minus x to multiply everything we have here, and that's what we did here. So 18 times 13 minus x minus x times 13 minus x equals to 66. All right, equals to 66. So you open the bracket. 18 times 13 is 234. 18 times minus x, we have minus 18x. Okay, so we have minus x times 13, you have minus 13x, and minus x times minus x, you have plus x squared. So equals to 66. All right, so we observe now that these and these are the same term, they are like terms, so you join them together. Minus 18x minus 13x gives you minus 31x. All right, so now the next thing is we rearrange. All right, x squared is written here. We want to write it in the standard form that we have been working with. So we have minus 31x, this is it. All right, we have 234 here. Okay, so and we move this 66 to this side. So we transpose that, so the sign changes. So we have minus 66. So when you subtract 66 from 234, you have 168, and that's what we have here now. Okay, so we now have our standard quadratic equation. So the next thing is to solve. Now you must identify your sum and product. The sum is minus 13 and the product is 168. Now the procedure is you look for two numbers such that when you multiply together you have 168, and when you add together you have minus 31. So the two numbers that we have is minus 7 and minus 24. So we have to plug in the values here. So we have x squared, this x squared is this. So we have minus 7x minus 24x. You see, when you join this together, you have minus 31. So you are not creating any new thing. Okay, so you have 168 equals to 0. All right, so look at the first pair, we factor out x. So you factor out x, you have, when you divide this by x, you have x. Divide minus 7x by x, you have minus 7. Here, you factor out minus 24. Divide minus 24x by minus 24, you have x. Divide 168 by minus 24, you have minus 7. So equals to 0. So you can factor out x minus 7. Okay, so when you factor that out, you are left with this and this. So they are in the bracket here. So you have two terms multiplying each other to be 0. So you see that this is 0 or the second one is 0. So you move this one to this side and this to this side. Okay, so x is 7. So now the question asks you to get the first number. So the first number now is this 18 minus x, and since our x is 7, so you subtract. Okay, now you can also try, maybe this is going to be this is going to work for that, so you can also subtract. So now you have 18 minus 24. What do you have? You have minus 6. That's going to be minus 6. Okay, if you plug in the value of x here. So, and here, now what do you have? 13 minus 24. That's going to give you minus 11. So you see, when you multiply this and this together, you are still going to have 66. So that means these are the values. So, but you can just conclude now that the first number is 11, or you say it is what? Minus 6. All right, so that is the answer to the problem. I want to believe by now everybody must have understand my explanation. Okay, so now let us move down to another problem. So immediately after this one, I'm going to give you something to do, because by now you should be right for another question. Okay, now let's look at one more example. Find two consecutive numbers whose products is 165. 165. Okay, so that is the question. Now we have to find two consecutive numbers whose product is 156. So now when we say consecutive, that means numbers that follow each other. Like now, example of consecutive numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. You can predict the next one, so they are consecutive. I can have it this way: 2, 4, 6, 8. They are consecutive. All right, they are consecutive numbers. All right, so now let us look at what we have here. We have to find two consecutive numbers whose product is 156. Now we start by saying let the first number be equals to x. So if the first number is x, what's going to be the next number? You know, since it is consecutive, so it's going to be x plus 1. I've given you an example of consecutive number. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can see each is increasing by 1. All right, so if this is the first number, so the next number will be equal to x plus 1. All right, so this is the first one. The next one is going to increase by 1, just like we have 2 here. The next one is what? 2 plus 1, and that's 3. So this time around our own is x, so the next one is going to be x plus 1. So these are consecutive numbers. All right, so the question is saying that the product of two consecutive numbers, that is when you multiply this by this, x times x plus 1, the product gives us what? 156. I hope everybody is getting that. Okay, so here now you can expand. Now I want everybody to understand my explanation, because after this I'm going to give you something similar to this, and I want to see the person that is going to get the first person that is going to get the correct answer. All right, so now let's look at it. So let us open the bracket. We have x squared. Now x times x is x squared. X times 1 is plus x equals to 156. Oh, do you get that? So now let us transpose 156. So you have x squared plus x minus 156 equals to 0. Okay, we are now there. So what is the sum and what is the product? Sum and product. Yes, class. What is the sum and what is the product? Yes, sum and product. sum and product. What is sum and what is product in that equation? Okay, yes, I can see Agbode. Okay, you've retracted that. What is sum and what is product? What is sum and what is product? Okay, Agbode, I can see 1 and minus 156. Yes. Yes, I can see 1 and minus 156. Uber. Yes, I can see Victor as well. Okay, so show me the, I can see okay, 1 and minus 156. Okay, good. So yes, we are correct. So now the sum is coefficient of x here is 1. The coefficient of x here is 1. All right, x is the same thing as 1x. So you have 1. While the product is what? Minus 156. Minus 156. Okay, so yes. So we need two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have minus 156. And when you add together, you have this. Okay, what are the two numbers? Yes, give me the two numbers. Which multiplication gives us what? Minus 156. And the addition is 1. Don't forget I said those numbers must be factor of 156, factor of the product. Yes. Yes, who is the first person that will give me the answer? I think somebody has given an answer before. I think that should be Taiwo. So we are waiting for others. Okay, I can see I got there. We have 13. Show me the 13 and minus 12. Yes. 13 and minus 12. Yes. Is anybody giving another answer to that? Yes, where is Toyosi's results? Yes. Okay, I can see Riscott 13 and minus 12. Good. So it means we are on point. That is very good. So the sum, the two numbers are 13 and minus 12. Because 13 times minus 12 will give us minus 156. And when you add together, see you have 1. It's 13 minus 12. That is 1. So now this equation turns to x squared minus 12x plus 13x minus 156 equals to 0. Okay, so that is what we have. So you now have two pairs now. This is the first one and the second one. So what's the common factor here? That is x. So when you divide x squared by x, you have x. Divide minus 12x by x, you have minus 12. Now look at this, the two terms here. What is the common factor? That is 13. Right? So divide this by 13. You have x. Now divide this by 13, you have minus 12 equals to 0. Alright, now let's look for the common factor. The common factor is x minus 12. So you have x minus 12. You are left with x and 13. So you have x plus 13 equals to 0. Alright? So you have x minus 12 equals to 0 or x plus 13 equals to 0. Okay? So what do we do next? You can add 12 to both sides, or you transpose minus 12. So you have x equals to 12 or x equals to minus 13. Okay? So Now, the question asks you to find the two consecutive numbers. The two consecutive numbers. So now let's consider the positive number, right? So if this is the first number, so what's going to be the second number? The second number is going to be x plus 1. So first number is 12, and second number is 12 plus 1, and that is what? 13. So the two consecutive numbers are 12 and 13. So that is the answer to the problem. All right, so I want to give you your question now. I want to believe you are ready for your question. So let's try this and see what we can do. Yes, find two consecutive even numbers whose products is 224. Okay, so that is the question. I hope you are not scared seeing even number this time around. You know even numbers the way they are being arranged. You know the difference between them, all right? So I've already given you an hint. So even numbers, the difference between each number is 2, unlike the one we just did now. So now let's quickly do this, and we post our answer in the comment section. So if you are just joining the class and you have not subscribed to this channel, please kindly do that. And those of you that are here that you have not subscribed as well, so you make sure you subscribe so that you will join the class in time. You see, once we start at the same time, you'll be able to get everything that I'm going to be explaining. All right, so always ensure that you subscribe. Once you subscribe, whenever we start, you will be notified. All right, so let's quickly attend to this. Let's wait for others. Show Media has given an answer. We have 13 and 16. Yes, we are waiting for others. Okay, please drop your answer. So I'm only seeing one person, so others should drop their answer. Uba, what's your results? Riscott, Amida, Abosede, yes. Okay, Uba have dropped his answer, minus 14 and 16. Yes. Let's wait for others. Okay. We don't really have much time. Okay, so you can continue solving for those of you that are solving. So probably maybe before we finish, you'll have gotten your answer. Okay, so now let's look at what we have here. Let's see. Now, the question says, find two consecutive even numbers whose product is 224. Two consecutive even numbers. Now, even numbers are like this: 2, 4, 6, 8. All of these are consecutive numbers, even numbers. All right. So the difference between consecutive even numbers is just 2. I say 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. All right. So now, if the first number is x, now the next number will be what? The next number will be what? X plus 2. Okay, it's going to be x plus 2 because even numbers are increasing by 2. So if the first one is 2, the next one will be x plus 2. All right, so now we have been told in the question that the product of the two consecutive numbers, just this and this, gives us 224. So you have x times x plus 2 equals to 0, equals to 224. Okay, now let me see, has anybody dropped an answer before we get our own final answer? Okay, I can see uncle 07, we have 14 and 16. So Oluwatosin 14 and 16, Agbonde minus 14 and minus 16. Okay, good. Yes, so I think we are all on point. All right, now let's open this bracket. We have x squared minus 2x equals to 224. Okay, when you open the bracket, you have this. So the next thing is to rearrange. Okay, so now let's subtract 224 from both sides. So you have x squared minus 2x minus 224 equals to 0. Alright, so I want to ask you, what is the sum and product? Yes, by now everybody should have finished. So what is the sum and product of this quadratic equation? Yes. What is the sum and product? Sum is what? Product is what? Yes. Okay. Uncle 07, yes. What is the sum and what is product? Okay. Tosin, we have minus 2 and minus 2 to 4. Yes. What is sum and product? What is sum and product? The sum and the product in that equation. So you have minus, okay, I can see, show me the minus 2 and then minus 224. Yes. Yes, Banjo, I can see what you have there. Yes, Agbon there, I can see. Yes. Uber, I can see what you have there. All right, so it seems some of you are not giving me what I asked for. I'm asking for the sum and product. So the sum is the coefficient of x here. I'm emphasizing this because of those people that are just joining for the first time so that they can learn from us. So the sum is the coefficient of x. That is minus 2. While the product is what? Minus 224. Minus 224. That is the number that is independent of x here. Alright, so we need two numbers such that when you multiply together, you have minus 224, and when you add together, you have minus 2. So what are the two numbers? I can see some of us have already given the answer. Yes, I can see minus 16 and 14. Okay, I think a lot of people gave that as their answer. Yes. Okay, I can see 14 and 16. I can also see minus 14 and minus 16. Okay, Riscott, you have 14 and 16. Now, the two numbers, let's look at what some of us gave here. We have 14 and some people gave this. Okay, let's see the validity. Now, let's first look at this one. Let's check whether this is correct. Now, when you use this to multiply this, you use minus 16 to multiply minus 14. There's no how you're going to get minus 224 because minus times minus is plus. So, and we have a negative 224 here. So, this one is wrong. Now, let's look at the second one, which majority of you dropped as your answer. Now, when you multiply this and this together, there's no how you're going to have minus 224. You can see it's not possible. So you can't have minus 224. You will have plus 224. All right. Even when you add together, you cannot even have minus 2. So that makes it to be wrong. Now let's look at this one. Now we have 16 and plus 14. When you multiply minus 16 and 14 together, you have minus 224 because minus times plus is what? Is minus. All right, so you have negative 224. Also, this same number, if you add them together, you are still going to have minus 2. If you have a depth of 16 and you have 14, so you'll be left with a depth of 2, and depth is minus 2. Can you see that now? So the two numbers are this. So if this is your answer, put your hands together for yourself. Put your hands together for yourself. If this is your answer, minus 16 and plus 14. That is the two numbers. Okay, so now this equation turns to x squared minus 16x plus 14x minus 224 equals to 0. Okay, now let's look for the common pattern. Now what is common? Now you have x is common, x minus 16. When you divide this by x, you have this. Divide this by x, you have this. So what is common here? Plus 14. Now when you divide this by 14, you have x. Divide this by 14, you have minus 16 equals to 0. You see, when you open the bracket, you have these two terms. 14 times x, you have 14x. 14 times minus 16, you have minus 224. Okay, so now let's look for the common terms. Now the common factor here is x minus 16. We have x minus 16. We are left with what? X plus 14 equals to 0. Alright? So now the next thing is to equate each of these to 0 because their multiplication is 0. So it's either x minus 16 is 0 or x plus 14 is 0. Alright? So now that means x equals to, when you transpose minus 16, you have 16, or x equals to minus 14. Okay, now we have to find the two consecutive even numbers. So now the first number is 16. Now just disregard the negative part. So you have the first number is what? 16. So what's going to be the second number? Look at it. Second number is 16 plus 2. So if x is the number, so the second number is going to be 16 plus 2. Alright? So what will that one give us? That is going to give us 18. That's going to give us 18. Will that be the correct answer? Okay, will that be the correct answer? Alright, so let's look at it. If this is the second number, so this is going to be the second number. That is what? 16 plus 2. Okay, so that should give us 18. That should give us 18. Now let's see. Can we verify this? What is going to be the answer when you use this and this to multiply each other? So what do we have? Let's see. That is 16 times 18. Okay, so that means there is something wrong with that. So if this is the first one, so that means we have to consider this now. So let's consider the second one. So if this is the first one, the second number is going to be 14. So that is going to be 14. Okay, because the multiplication must give us 224. Now, because the question says we have two consecutive even number, which product is 224. You can see you have to look at it very well so that you don't make mistake. All right. If this is the first number, so the second number is going to be 200, and the second number is going to be 14. So that means with what we have here, this is 16. Okay, and this one is what? 14. You get that? So it's going to be 14 plus 2. So that is how we have 16 here, and this is 14 here. So the two numbers are, so you have to check whether the numbers you have are correct. Okay, so you check whether the numbers are correct. Okay, so that is the answer to that problem. So the answers are 16 and 14, and the two consecutive number are the two consecutive number. All right, so that is good. That is good. So now let's move down to the last question for today. Let's move down to the last question for today. Now we have the square Okay, now let's look at the problem we have here. We have the square of a certain number is 22 less than 13 times the original number. Find the number. Okay, the square of a certain number is 22 less than what? 13 times the original number. So we start by saying let the original number be equals to x. Okay, this is the original number. Now the question now says the square of a certain number. That is the original number. The square of it. So we have the square. The square of it is 22 less. Is 22 less than 13 times the original number. Is what? Is what? Is 22 less. So that means it is reduced. It's 22 less than this. So that means it is equals to 13x minus 22. Hope you get that. The square is the square of a certain number. This is the square of a certain number. Is equals to 13 times the number, and it is less. That means it is less by 22. Once it is less by 22, that means you subtract 22 from it. So x squared equals to 13x minus 22. So that's what this statement is talking about. I will go through it again. So the question looks tricky. Now look at it. The square of a certain number. The square of a certain number is this. Is 22 less. Is 22 less than 13 times the original number. So that means that is equals to 13 times the certain number minus 22. So all I just need to do is get 13 multiplied by the certain number, reduce it by 22. It's going to be equals to the square of the certain number. That's all. So that means this statement, now we have x squared equals to 13x minus 22. All right, so it's just all about interpretation of a question. All right, can you see that now? So now let us write it in the standard form. X squared minus 13x plus 22 equals to 0. Yes, I want your response. Do you understand that interpretation? Yes. Hello? Yes. Do you understand the interpretation of that number? I want a response from you. Yes. Okay, I can see not really. Okay, Uba is saying yes. Okay, Riscott, yes. All right. Agbode, yes. Yetunde, oh no. Shotola said no. Okay. Okay, Taiwo. Okay, yes. All right. Progress, not at all. Okay. All right. So let me go through it again. So let me go through it again because I want to carry everybody along. Because immediately after this one, I'm giving you an assignment. So, and I want every one of you to attempt the assignment and get the correct answer. Now, look at it. The question says that the square of a certain number, I don't know that number. I said let the number be x. The square of a certain number, square of a certain number. What happened to this? Now, this square of a certain number is equals to something, and that's what they want to tell us. Now, the square of a certain number is means is equals to 22 less than 13 times, that is 22 less than, it means 22 minus 13 times the original number. That's just the meaning. 22 less than 13 times the original number. Okay, so that is just the statement. 13 times the original number minus 22. So 13 times the original number is less by 22. So it is less by 22. Now, what we have now equals to x squared. Yes, what of that? Do you get that now? Okay, I'm expecting a positive answer to that. I'm expecting a positive answer to that. So we square the value of a certain number. This is a certain number that is being squared. That certain number is means is equals to 22 less than 13 times the original number. 13 times the original number, 13x, 13 times x minus 22. Okay, so that is the meaning, and that's how we arrive here. Okay, so now you now write this in the normal standard equation that we have been working with. So now the next thing is to do for the sum and product. So you quickly do that for me. Yes, I want quick response to this. What is the sum and what is the product? Yes, the sum and product. Yes, who is giving us that? Sum, product, sum, product. I've not asked for the two numbers. Okay, some of you are already giving the answer. Okay, the sum and product. So let's do it step by step so that those people that are joining us will learn. Okay, sum is minus 13 and the product is 22 by Agbode. Yes, yes, show me there we have minus 13, 22. Yes, Riscott we have minus 13, 22. Yes, Uncle 07 we have minus 30. Okay, so yes, I can see that we understand that. So we have sum is minus 13 and product is 22. So we need two numbers which the addition is minus 13 and the product is 22. Now you can give the answer. Some of us have given the numbers. Okay, what are the numbers? Yes, okay, I can now see, show me they drop in our own. Yes, I got there minus 11 minus 2 minus 11 minus 2. Yes, I both said the minus 11 minus 2. Yes, I need one more before we do that. Minus 11 minus 2, Bosse. Okay, is anybody dropping an answer different from what we have here? Okay, Uncle 7, Victor. Yes, we have a Riscott. Okay, good. Since we now understand that minus 11 minus 2. Now, when you add these two numbers together, you have minus 13. When you multiply the two together, you have plus 22. So that is that. So now, this equation turns to x squared minus 11x minus 2x plus 22 equals to 0. All right, the common factor here is what? X. So you divide this by x, you have x. Divide minus 11x, that gives you minus 11. So what's the common factor? Minus 2. Don't forget, I told you, always pick the sign there. So when you divide minus 2x by minus 2, you have x. Divide by 22, you have minus 11 equals to 0. Alright, so you have, what is common? You have x minus 11 is common, so you are left with what? X minus 2 equals to 0. Okay? Now we have x minus 11 equals to 0 or x minus 2 equals to 0. So therefore, x equals to 11 or x equals to 2. Okay, so now let us look at it now. So now that means the value, the number is either 11 or 2. You can plug it into this, you will see that the value is correct. So the number is correct. So once you insert, you can always check back and you have your answer. So this is going to be the last example for today. Just like some of you have requested, I'm going to give you an assignment against the next class based on what we have done. I want you to rack your brain and make sure you get the correct answer to this problem I'm going to be giving you now. A woman is 3 times as old as her son. Okay. Okay, so that is the question. Now, let's look at it. A woman is 3 times as old as her son. 8 years ago, the product of their ages was 122. Now, find their present age. Okay, so that is the question. So you have to sit down and read in between lines to be able to answer this question. It's a very simple question, but also technical. But let me just tell you something. Maybe that is going to help you now to answer this question. Now, if I say 5 years ago, I'm 20 years old. 5 years ago, I'm 20 years old. How old am I now? Maybe I should begin by asking you this question. So that's going to help you now to answer this question. 5 years ago, I'm 20 years old. How old am I now? Yes? Is anyone dropping answer? How old am I now? 5 years ago, I am 20 years old. How old am I now? Okay, I can see Agbode, yes. Victor, yes. Riscott, 25 years. 25 years. Okay, Abasode, 25 years. Show me the 25 years. Good. So I will be 25 years old now. Because 20 years ago, I am 20, 5 years ago, I'm 20 years. So now I'm going to be 25. How did you get that 25? What you did is that you add 5 to 20, right? Okay, good. So now that will also help you here. So if you understand that concept, it will help you here. So if I say I am 3 times as old as Shola, I am 3 times as old as Shola. I'm 3 times as old as Shola. If Shola is 12 years old, how old am I? Yes, I want you to drop the answer. I am 3 times as old as Shola. If Shola is 12 years old, how old am I? Yes. So what age? What's my age? Okay, I can see one answer. Abode said 36. Yes, I'm seeing 36. Yes. Okay. Okay, a lot of people are saying 36. I hope we are doing some calculation there. Okay, good. I can see Victor showing his own working, how he arrived at 36. Yes, I got there. Yes, you said 12 times 3. Yes. Okay, that's very good. You guys are very smart. Now put it together for yourself. I love that. You are doing very well. Okay, so now I am 3 times as old as someone. And that person is what? Is 12 years old. So if I'm 3 times as old as that person, so it will just be my his own age times 3. That is my age. That's 12 times 3, and that gives you 36. All right, so these are the 2 things you need to answer this question, because I don't want anybody to miss this question. All right, so now, so I want us to copy this question, and you keep your answer against the next class. We are going to be meeting tomorrow, so keep your answer against the next class. All right, so we are ending the class now. So I will always remind you, those of you that always ask for link, instead of you asking for the link, why don't you just have the why don't you just click on the notification button so that you'll be notified whenever we're online. So if you have not subscribed, ensure you subscribe, and don't forget to like this page. All right, and always share this video with your friends. Anytime we're on air like this, share this video with your friends. Let them to also enjoy what you're enjoying on this platform. So thank you very much. So have a nice night. Bye bye.